Coming up on WFT Midday, the federal government is amidst fallout over sensitive military information shared on a group chat. We'll tell you how Democrats are calling for answers.
And RTS is changing its bus fares for riders. We'll tell you what's changing and what you need to do to keep riding the buses.
Plus, the deadline to file your taxes is approaching quickly. We'll tell you how you can file and what could happen if you miss the deadline. WFT Midday starts right now.
You're watching WUFT Midday.
Last night, we told you how a journalist was accidentally added to a group chat with top government officials. Today, President Trump is downplaying the incident. This is WFT's Midday. I'm Kade Sowers.
And I'm Jessica Wilkinson. Democrats are calling for an investigation and some resignations. NBC's Alice Barr is in Washington with updates on this security risk.
This disrespect for our...
On Capitol Hill, growing outrage over that Signal group chat between top U.S. officials discussing sensitive details of impending airstrikes in Yemen, with a journalist inadvertently added.
This is utterly unprofessional. There's been no apology.
While from the White House, President Trump overnight downplayed the discussions.
There was no problem, and the attack was a tremendous success.
National Security Advisor Mike Waltz acknowledging he created the Signal thread.
I take full responsibility. I built the group.
That somehow invited the Atlantic magazine's top editor, Jeffrey Goldberg.
We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened.
Goldberg says the chat included Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, reporting that Hegseth texted information, quote, about targets, weapons the U.S. would be deploying, and attack sequencing 2 hours before U.S. strikes on the Iranian-backed Houthis in Yemen.
Nobody's texting more plans. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Goldberg disputes that, saying he may release more of the messages.
We take national security information seriously.
Also on the thread, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe, who faced a grilling in a Senate hearing, both denying any information in the chat was classified.
My communications, to be clear, in a Signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful.
There was no classified material that was shared in that
So then
Signal
if there was no classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways.
As calls for an investigation grow louder. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Greenland residents expressed displeasure about the United States' visit to Greenland later this week. WFT's Sierra Pulver joins us live in the studio to tell us about the Vice President's plans for the trip.
Vice President J.D. Vance posted a video message announcing the trip, saying he decided to join his wife's previously planned visit that already included the National Security Advisor and the Energy Secretary. He said he will visit a U.S. Space Force base while in Greenland and receive a briefing on Arctic security. Vance said a lot of other countries have threatened Greenland and could potentially use Greenland's territories and waterways to threaten the United States in the video he posted. The Greenlandic Prime Minister previously called the visit a mission to try to own and control Greenland. Here's a reaction from a local person in Greenland.
I don't have anything polite to say, so I think I'd rather not say anything, to be honest. I wish the U.S. would stay away.
This trip comes after President Trump suggested that the United States should take over Greenland one way or another. The suggestion met plenty of pushback from residents in Greenland as well as political leaders in Denmark, which controls the territory. Live in the studio, Sierra Pulver, WUFT News.
Businesses are pulling back hiring plans due to President Trump's tariff threats, which could spark a trade war. A survey of chief financial officers reveals a quarter of U.S. businesses are scaling back right now. Likewise, 25% of CFOs say they have cut their capital spending plans this year. After Trump's election victory, CFOs were asked the most important issue facing their firms. Tariffs only ranks number 10. Now, tariffs are number 1, by a long shot.
The Justice Department is considering whether to defend the federal government's restrictions on gun silencers. This is part of President Donald Trump's order to reevaluate policies that could limit gun rights. Silencers or suppressors are legal in 42 states. To get one, that's a little more difficult. Strict restrictions under the National Firearms Act have been in place since the 1930s. Buyers are required to submit fingerprints and a picture, go through a background check, and pay a $200 tax. You can face prosecution if you fail to pay the tax or register it. Gun right advocates say silencers are protected by the Second Amendment and not often used in crime. But gun safety groups say silencers put people at risk by making mass shootings harder to hear and makes a semi-automatic easier to shoot.
It is warming up quickly today after a cloudy morning, and we might even see some temperatures in the 80s. WUFT meteorologist Maxham joins us to tell us how warm we'll feel in a few hours and how long we'll be feeling that heat.
Yeah, the heat is going to be around for a while. We don't have any cool spells coming into really the extended forecast as well. So we're going to keep above average temperatures in the forecast. It's 76 right now. Even with a light north wind, we're already at 76 degrees. Temperatures will eventually move up into the 80s. Hey, they've already moved up. It's 80 degrees with a new number coming in as we're getting some new information. We'll max out probably around 84 or 85 degrees this afternoon. Currently some other numbers, 76 in Stark, it's 75 in the Villages, but 79 in Crystal River. A cold front, it's working its way through, but it's really just a dry front. We'll see the winds shifting to the north, but cool air and dry air going to continue flowing our way. Temperatures into the 80s today, but rain is creeping back into the forecast by the weekend. We'll track those showers coming up.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary of Baltimore Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse. Maryland leaders are honoring the 6 construction workers killed during the catastrophe. The anniversary also sparked criticism. Just last week, federal investigators criticized the Maryland Transportation Authority for failing to take precaution towards the bridge's vulnerability to ship strikes. Officials say a new bridge is in the work and should be completed by 2028.
We have some local elections coming up that you can take part in today and the rest of the week. Tonight, Newberry's mayoral candidates will debate at 7 p.m. in City Hall. Let's take a look at who they are. The candidates are current City Commissioner Tim Martin and former Commissioner Joy Glanzer. Jordan Marlowe, the city's mayor since 2017, will be moving to a new role as city manager. The election will take place on April 8th with 2 commissioner seats also in play. In tonight's debate, the 2 mayoral candidates will discuss economic development, visions for the future, and governing philosophies. In Marion County, you can take part in a special election. The election is to fill former Congressman Mike Walt's spot. Early voting ends this Friday, the 29th. The special election will be held on April 1st with Republican candidate Randy Fine facing off against Democrat Joshua Wheel. As of today, nearly 10,000 residents have already voted.
Local restaurants are getting an influx of new customers after host Guy Fieri brought his show, Diners, Drives, and Dives, here to Gainesville. 4 local restaurants were featured on the show, 2 of which housed in the 4th Avenue Food Park, a bagel shop named Tumblewood Fire, and a meat market named Fehrenbacher's Meats and Eats. Chef and owner Adam Fehrenbacher says they are pleased with the exposure the show brought and are happy to see the benefits.
People from all over the state have been coming in to see what we've got. We've got a really unique product, and we do our best to do a good job, and I think that reflects in what was shown in the show.
Fehrenbacher hopes this exposure continues bringing new faces into his restaurant.
New at noon, if you're in need of some quick groceries, you can get a few items for free on Friday from Farm Share. It's from 9 a.m. until they run out. There are 2 locations near Gainesville, the Gainesville Project Youth Build Free Food Distribution and the La Crosse Baptist Church. Farm Share is Florida's largest food bank, giving out fresh produce and non-perishable goods only through a drive-thru. You must arrive in a vehicle with a trunk or cargo bed. And Gainesville is going greener. Zero Waste Gainesville is a community-led initiative that focuses on reducing consumption and waste. At the event, you can learn how to garden yourself. Last Sunday was the start of the daily events and workshops. Stick around for WFT's First at 5 for more updates on Zero Waste goal and what you can expect later this week.
The 2025 World Masters Athletic Indoor Championships are in full swing right now here in town. The Alachua County Sports and Events Center is hosting the competition with 24 athletic events and over 4,000 participants from around the world. Athletes from over 80 countries travel to Florida to compete, ranging in ages from 35 to over 85 years old. The competition includes both track and field events such as javelin throwing, discus, and shot put. The men's high jump will be starting at 12:30 p.m. and the event will end at 6:30 p.m. tonight with the men's 200-meter semifinals. The competition continues through Sunday, March 30th.
You can see the baby box blessing at the Chiefland Fire Department if you're nearby tomorrow at 1 p.m. Chiefland will be blessing the 330th location in the nation, making it the 6th in Florida. This is due to Safe Haven Baby Box. The event will have speakers and remarks from the founder. The organization offers a secure option for mothers in crisis who are unable to take care of their newborns. The boxes are installed on the walls of fire stations and hospitals across the U.S.
There is only 1 week left to utilize Gainesville's public transportation for free without an ID card. RTS offers free bus fares for riders 65 and older and for those 18 and under. A new policy is requiring eligible passengers to carry an RTS ID to ride for free. The Gainesville Transportation Department announced the requirement last October to reduce fraud and address budget cuts. The city launched the Fare-Free Transit program in 2021, and since then, eligible riders have taken over 1.6 million trips.
It will also probably support the program and make sure that the people riding are within the guidelines.
Riders must have their ID before April 1st deadline. You can get the free digital ID or online or pick up a physical card at RTS headquarters.
If you're looking to get out for lunch, let's take a look at the traffic you'll be facing. Now let's take a look at our live DOT camera near Gainesville. You can see light traffic on your lunch break now, so it's a great time to head out and get that sandwich you're thinking about. Check on these sunny skies with WFT meteorologist William Maxham.
Yeah, Kade, we are dealing with a lot of sunny skies over the next couple days, but clouds and rain chances will be returning as we get into the weekend. But hey, let's enjoy the sun while it's here. It's 80 degrees already right now with just perfectly clear blue skies above the campus at UF, 80 degrees with very light winds. That wind direction this afternoon is going to come mainly out of the north because a cold front is working its way through, not bringing cold air, just dry air from the north. So we're going to see that moisture remaining low. It's not going to feel very muggy and sticky into the weekend, and that's the reason we're not seeing clouds with this front. Currently 79, Palatka 76 in Jacksonville. It's 79 Cedar Key. Today we'll make it up to about 84 or 85 degrees this afternoon, about 5 degrees warmer than where we are right now. No rain expected today. That light north wind going to continue on flowing our way. We're watching this area of high pressure to our north. It's going to slide our way and kind of park itself over us tomorrow. We'll start out in the 50s, and then as that front slides further southward, we'll see high pressure sitting in place across north central Florida into the late part of the week. Winds will start turning around to the south. That's going to bring back some moisture, start to bring rain chances back into our forecast, but that's not happening until mainly Sunday. A few showers, though, are possible Saturday as that moisture begins to return. Most of the heaviest stuff is going to remain to our west, but there's at least a small chance of a shower or two on Saturday. Our rain chances pick up on Sunday, and we'll see scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm into the afternoon, front moving through at the end of our Sunday into Monday. That's going to bring a little more severe weather potential and end our rainy stretch of weather. But we've got about 3 days with rain in the forecast coming after a dry stretch over the next 2. So dry air is flowing in, and then that moisture starts to creep back up. Dew point temperatures, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, getting kind of sticky. So we get into the weekend and those rising rain chances. We're looking at showers and storms on our Sunday afternoon, potentially hanging on into Monday. That front may stall over our area, keeping showers around potentially as far away as into Tuesday as well.
Now let's head over to our Noticias partners for a look at today's top stories for our Spanish language audience.
Hola, soy Génesis Trujillo con tus noticias en 90 segundos. La juez Gloria Walker escuchará argumentos en julio sobre un veredicto en contra de la oficina de alguacil del condado de Alachua por discriminación racial. Un jurado determinó por unanimidad que el ex sargento Kevin Davis de raza blanca fue pasado por alto para los ascensos por parte del ex sheriff Clovis Watson Jr., quien es de raza negra. De acuerdo a la demanda, Davis asegura que Watson asignó a oficiales negros menos calificados. Los abogados de la oficina de sheriff ahora están apelando el veredicto beneficial a Davis, calificando una recompensa de $15 millones como extremadamente excesiva, buscando reducirla a $30,000. El Atlantic ha publicado mensajes en texto adicionales sobre los ataques en Yemen. El editor en jefe de la plataforma de Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, fue añadido accidentalmente a un chat de texto privado a principios de este mes en que el secretario de Defensa, Pete Hegseth, asesor de Seguridad Nacional, Mike Waltz, y varios funcionarios discutieron los inminentes ataques aéreos contra los rebeldes Houthi. La publicación se produjo después de que funcionarios de la administración Trump criticaron al Atlantic por su informe inicial y afirmaron que los mensajes no incluyen información clasificada. Ayer, Hegseth afirmó a periodistas que lo tiene todo bajo control. Sin embargo, Hegseth y Walsh se han enfrentado a peticiones de dimisión sobre esas revelaciones. Un grupo de defensa de los derechos humanos acusa a un grupo de rebeldes por cometer graves abusos civiles en Colombia. Los rebeldes están agrediendo a granjeros para tomar control sobre el catatumbo, mientras que los granjeros se reportan contatando cana de azúcar en campos de trabajo forzadamente. Por otro lado, los rebeldes han empezado a reclutar menores forzadamente para unirse al grupo. El presidente Gustavo Petro dice que el grupo rebelde ha perdido a sus valores originales y se han vuelto codiciosos. Estas fueron tus noticias en 90 segundos. Gracias por sintonizarnos.
This is video from Georgie Cartanza's chicken farm. I can't go there in person because all the chickens had to be put down and the farm is under strict quarantine after being hit with the HPAI, or avian influenza.
We have had 9 farms here on Delmarva that have had HPAI that are broilers.
Including yours?
Including mine. We're cleaning and disinfecting and getting everything ready so that it can be swabbed, because every farm is swabbed to make sure that it is virus-free.
Georgie is also the University of Delaware's cooperative extension poultry agent for the entire state. She has a farm and works with all the other chicken growers. She says the flu is caused by migrating waterfowl like geese and ducks. An outbreak can start if somebody walks into a chicken house with infected goose poop on their boots. Rodents can spread it too.
Because we're growing food for people to eat.
Yeah, it's a major financial loss for farmers, but Georgie was crushed to have to depopulate her chicken farm because it's literally food off American tables. But safety has to come first. So I'm told these chicken farms are taking safety precautions on top of other precautions to keep everybody safe. But they also tell me, should one of these infected chickens somehow slip through and make it to your grocery store shelf, they say as long as you cook it to 165 degrees, you're safe, you're good to go.
What we can't do is throw our hands up and say, hey, I can't do anything about this.
Georgie says Delaware farms are looking to step up their biosecurity game to prevent potentially infected migrating birds from staying on their property. Fortunately, broiler chickens have a lifespan of about 9 weeks, so farms can get back up and running relatively quickly once they're fully cleared of the flu. Egg layers, on the other hand, live and produce eggs for about 68 weeks. That's why the avian flu has hit that industry so hard, and why we have this prolonged egg shortage and price spikes. This is why all chicken farmers are now spending so much time and money to fight this flu.
But there's certainly more things we're going to be adopting and implementing on the farm to try to even make our odds a little better next time.
Dollar Tree is selling Family Dollar after purchasing the discount retailer a decade ago, but for a lot more than $1, more like $1 billion. The 2 private equity firms are set to buy Family Dollar after nearly a year-long search. The $1 billion that it's being sold for, that's just a fraction of the $9 billion that Dollar Tree spent buying it in 2015. The deal is pending regulatory approval, but is expected to go through in the next 90 days.
Now, before we close our show, let's get over to WFT First at 5 anchor Juan Carlos Chowie with a look at what's coming up on First at 5 on Channel 5.
Jessica and Kade, today's newscast is going to be an exciting one. Let's get into what you can expect later today on First at 5. Up first, it's been a year since the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsed. We'll hear from an expert on what the city is doing to rebuild. Then, a carjacker is behind bars. The unlikely culprit police caught. Finally, what Gainesville is doing to entice the Jacksonville Jaguars to playing in the swamp.
All right, we're looking sunny through the next couple days. Temperatures are going to be into the 80s into the weekend. However, over the weekend, rain chances will be rising. Showers and storms Sunday into Monday could be on the strong side, especially Sunday evening, but the heat not going anywhere. Temperatures may reach 90 by the middle of next week.
Alrighty, well, thank you, William and JC. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're back here tomorrow for another edition.
We'll see you later today for First at 5 on Channel 5. Have a great afternoon.